Relax.
Everyone. Hi everyone, how are you doing? My name is Rehan and I'm here with Amy. And I wanted to touch a subject which has been on my mind for a long, long time, and I got the opportunity today to talk about this with Amy, and I'm going to talk about it. So let me tell you a little bit background about why I think I have a little bit authority on this subject. Since I'm a very, very young person, since I started working when I was 14 as a proper company, and it's now 30 years.
Touch a subject which very, very young person.
And the one thing which I have been doing all my life, I've never created product early years. I haven't done really um, manufacturing. I was always doing some kind of selling. And more than selling, I was more into branding. And, for example, my family name is Allahwala, and my father used the name Ahmed. He'd skipped the name Allahwala in the family name. My grandfather, his father, everybody else was Allahwala, but I was not. My passport, my birth certificate said Rehan Ahmed. So I started selling Commodore 64 games. And Amy, do time me. I don't want to speak more than 5 minutes for this. And so I started using the name Allahwala because I was with a teacher. His name was Roshan Panjwani. His company was called MicroKit. I was very keen, and he suggested that we should, have this company and we can start selling games. And so there was a software which I could install. I was selling games, so I would install the software on every game. So before the game would start, everybody would see my name, Rehan Allahwala, 455-8743, the phone number of my home. That was my company's phone number. So I started, I became very famous in the next 2 coming years because while I was selling games, it was a very small market. And then every single person who was playing a game was watching my name for 10 seconds before he could even play a game. So it was like they would cuss me, they would do whatever to do with me, but my brand name became very famous. This is pre-internet. There was no internet at that time. Coming to 5-6 years ago, when I decided to do something with my life in terms of helping people, I decided that I want to get rid of poverty. So we started playing with different brand names. And in between those time, in the 24 years in between, I have been selling, email service, fax service, UPSs, different products. But I was always a good branding person. I was always branding. I'm not a good salesperson. And the reason I think is that a salesperson needs to sometime give information which is repetitive. And I can't really sell anything. I can't really tell you that this bottle of water is amazing. You should buy it because. I could just explain, why it can be good for you, and at the same time, my ethical value force me to tell you at the same time what a bad in it. So and where do those values come from?
Forced you to tell what at the same time?
The bad things in this bottle of water. So for example, this particular bottle of water, I think it's higher. And we got like a whole freighter for free. So we're still drinking it though. But I would never take this bottle and rename them the date and sell it. That would be unethical for me. And where does that come from? It comes from a hadith of Prophet Muhammad. And what he used to do was, whenever he was selling wheat or some grain, if there was something wrong in the entire bag, he would take the bad parts of it and put it on the top. So people would notice it. And that's where my value comes from. So that people would know what is bad before they would know what is good. So all my life, I have always like when a customer comes to you, like we had this telephone product which was $10,000, and they would come to me and they would say, "I want to buy this," and I would put in this thing, and I know they would pay me $4,000.
I'm having a difficult time hearing you. Everyone else, can you hear Rehan?
Um, I'll 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 fast forward it a little bit.
Oh, there
Uh,
you go. It's clear now. It's like there was something on the microphone. Hard to hear. Okay. Yeah, it's better now.
I was hoping to install the headphones.
Now you're putting your finger on something.
No, there's no finger. It's the processor.
There. It's better now.
All right. Anyway, so I forgot where I was.
Putting a certain part of a certain product on top of the pile. You're at 6 minutes, by the way.
Anyways, fast forward. For the last 5 years, I spent a fortune on. Is it still hanging up? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
So I built this large following on my Facebook. I think it's the processor, but I'll try to come down. And we started talking with Amy about the subject that should she have a Facebook page or should she continue with the Facebook profile. So up till a year ago, Amy had no followers because the follower function was closed. It was absolutely blocked. No, I don't want followers. I don't want people to stalk me. I don't want people to.
I didn't say that.
Well, I don't remember what exactly you said, but this is normally, these are the language which I hear when I ask people to open their follower function. Okay, I'll buy some earpods, Yanni. And where was I?
You said
Yeah.
that until a year ago, I didn't have followers. And that was because for me, I used Facebook exclusively personally. I wouldn't connect with anyone I didn't have a relationship with in person. That was my reason.
Not a relationship, but you have met them in person. So it could be a taxi driver you have a ride with and had a 10 minutes wonderful chat. You might have added them. But that is what relationship here in this context means. So you finally, Amy opened, and a lot of other people. I mean, I literally spend, if anybody has spent time with me in physical world, they would see the first thing I would tell people is open your follower function. And if they are my Facebook friend, the first thing I would say is open your follower function, so that people can follow you. Anyways, coming forward, so we started working on Amy's profile, and when Amy was this, like I visited her, and then we decided that we will work on expanding her social media brand and her online branding. So now somebody suggested that to Amy that she should maybe create a page. Is that what it happened, or did you discover it on your own?
It was a combination of getting a lot of input from different people and also looking at different people I follow. And so it seemed to me that the emphasis, including your pages, that the emphasis should be on the business page rather than the personal page. And my experience with doing a Facebook Live on my personal page, it was a really important Facebook Live that I was using for my work, and it disappeared. And different people said, unless it's a really short Facebook Live, they don't last as long, or you have to make them shorter on your personal page rather than your business page. So I've been researching and trying to figure out, should I put my effort into building up the business page And so this is why we're here live with you, because Rehan and I were just talking about, should I have more followers on my personal page or my business page?
Right. So let me give you some context on why I started my page. Up till a few years
Your
ago.
business page or your personal page?
Okay, let me clarify that. What is a page and what's a profile? A profile is where you normally log in and you have friends on there, right? So that's a profile. On a page, there's no such thing as a profile, as a friend. They're all your fans. So whenever somebody in at least whenever in future I would say to you a page would mean what you call a business page. It is still a page. It's not a business page, it's a page.
Okay.
Now let me give you some context on why the page started. Up till a few years ago, the limit on Facebook was 5,000 people, period. No followers, no subscribers, nothing, nada. You cannot have followers, you cannot do anything. There was no such thing as followers on Facebook. That's only like up to 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Before that, the limit on Facebook was 5,000 people. Now I reached my 5,000 limit 5-6 years ago because I was wanting to friend everyone. And so then the Facebook page came along and they started saying, you know what, if you are having more than 5,000 people, you go ahead and make a page. So I went ahead and made a page and was sitting there doing nothing. I just did not use my page at all because I did not like it. It was sitting there doing nothing. And then the follower function started. It was called initially subscribers, so you could have subscribers. And then I opened that function and people started stacking up. And I got followers. Now, again, in somewhere around 5 years ago, I started advertising I was looking for human beings in certain parts of the world, particularly Palestine, because I did not know any Palestinian people. Excuse me, this water has a lot of gas and it's giving me gas. It's a bubbly water, yes. So coming back to, I wanted to advertise, I wanted a way to somehow reach Palestinian people. And the only way I found was that you make a status and then you can put an ad in Palestine on Facebook that, you know, my advertisement was, hi, my name is Rehan, I'm from Pakistan, would you like to be my Facebook friend? And they couldn't friend me, they could only like my page. And so I would sit down every day, look for people who like my page, request them to become my friend, add them, message them, say, hi, how are you? How is Palestine? Basically, I was looking for people. It was never intended for page purpose. Now, this is where eventually it just grew. Now, today, when you make a post on Facebook page, only 2 to 5% of the people will see your post. But when you make a post on your personal profile, 20% might, 10% to 20% people will watch it. In the page, if you make the same post, you have to pay Facebook to show it to all your people. Yeah. Whereas in profile, you don't have to pay. It just goes out to more people. So economically, it makes more sense that people will just, you just post more on your profile, not your page. Now look at Mark Zuckerberg himself. He does not have a page. He's using his personal profile. He has 90 million followers on his personal profile. He promotes it. Every time you sign up on Facebook, on the right it will say, meet Mark Zuckerberg. He's our founder. Would you like to be his follower or friend? And people follow him. So if the guy who invented Facebook doesn't have a page, a business page, why on earth would you want a business page? Number one. Number two is there's no such limitation that I am aware of the video size. I have broadcasted 2 hours long videos on my profile. I don't know why it disappeared. You might have called it a human error. because computers normally don't make errors, so it might be a human error of some kind where
It was
you
there
press
for three
something and it's
hours.
there. It doesn't matter. It's gone. What is gone is gone. You forget about it and you do it again. You forget about it. You make a mistake or you do something. You do it again. So, and my reply to you was the same, that you lost 3 hours. Hello, you lost 40 years of content also of the life you lived, explaining and teaching to people in real time. People lose it every day. So forget about 3 hours. You lost 40 years. What's 3 hours in compared to 40 years? Nothing. I mean, if you had your content from 20 years ago teaching, or if you had your content from 37 years ago when you were teaching your younger sister, I can guarantee you will have 2 million views on it, because you were like 5 or 4 or whatever, and you were teaching a 2-year-old kid. And that's amazing. It doesn't matter if a 40-year-old person is teaching, because everybody does that.
Right.
So now comes sociology and psychology in this page and profile factor. A personal profile is something which is personal. Just like your Facebook was personal before, if you would meet a taxi driver and you had an interaction for 10 minutes, it's personal. All of a sudden, that person is no longer a person, but a person you know. Whereas if you say to the taxi driver, "Hi, my name is Amy, here's my card, just like my page," why on earth would he want to like your page? I mean, hello, he would want to be your friend, maybe, but why would somebody want to be your liker? Like, oh, I follow her page, or I like your page. Why? You're not like, Madonna. So the actors and singers, they have been giving us information which is monologue, not a dialogue. So Madonna is not a religious person or a religious preacher. She's a singer. Okay, I like Madonna as a singer. Fine. I like this person as an actor. Great. But hello, you're a teacher. A teacher is supposed to answer questions. And there is a personal relationship with that person. So if somebody, in my opinion and observation and experience, I never like anybody's pages. It's useless, because I don't want to just hear from somebody. I can read a book from them. It's useless for me, unless it's Bill Gates and Richard Branson, who I know it's very, very tough to get anything out of them. I'm not interested. And here you are trying to build a brand. You need to build that empathy as much as you want, or as much as you can. Build that empathy level, and the empathy will come when you have them as a friend, or as a follower, or as somebody where they can inbox you and feel that it's something personal.
Mm-hmm.
In a page, to me, it's like, Perrier brand, like us. It's not a person. Whereas Amy Carey is a human being who's alive and is a person. It's not just anybody. So in my opinion, unless you have 100,000 plus followers, never go for a page, ever, in your opinion, especially with the character you have, where you're empathetic, you're kind, you're considerate, which most people are, and you like this conversation. So if you really want a dialogue and a conversation with people and your students, putting them in a group is not a good idea. Putting them in your page is not a good idea. Having a group is a decent idea, where they can. The reason I started your group was so that I can meet all your students. You made it into something totally different. You made it into a classroom, which is great. But then again, it's something new you are creating on the planet Earth, on Facebook, which has never been done before. So I wouldn't say much about it, but my experience has been into personal connection and personal interaction. Just like old school people go into conferences, in one-on-one meetings or seminars where you meet people, you shake hands, you look in their faces, you look in their eyes, you look at their shoes, you look at their clothes, everything is important. So for me, I don't want likes because it's useless. It's like I don't even know these people. And whereas on a person on a personal profile, I actually, it's like me, I'm hanging out with these people every single day. I'm literally like hanging out with these people. And when I hang out, I hang out. I mean, I'm hanging in there. So to me, page is not personal at all. And that's why I don't encourage it. Now, what are the benefits of having a page? The benefits of having a page is that it has certain power which a profile does not have. For example, you can have multiple people broadcast on it. You can have multiple people manage it. You can have advertising on it. So for example, you have the budget and you want to advertise in Guam, or you want to go to Peru. For example, if I go to a country, I actually advertise, I'm going to be in your country. Would you like to be my friend? Would you like to show me around? I actually advertise that. And if you do, click here and they come to my personal profile now. I enjoy that. But you can't do that on a personal profile, even though I've written to Facebook many times that if you would do that, I would pay for that. People can find, it's a great place to find friends, relationship partners, all kinds of people. Facebook is a phenomenal tool. But Facebook has tried in the past to boost personal profile pages, like advertising, but they've removed it for whatever the reason they have. So coming in your personal case, I would suggest up till you have 50,000 followers, the moment you will have 50,000 followers, people will Google you and people will look you up. They will be like, who are you? Why do you have 50,000 followers? I mean, that's how it starts. It's like they are in an awe and they just want to follow you just because you have followers. It's like monkey see, monkey do. Very, very.
See, monkey do.
It is what it is.
No one here is a monkey. We're not saying that.
I'm not saying you're a monkey, but our monkey, we all have this reptilian monkey brain. This is like, which is literally, if you see an ice cream shop which has a lot of people buying ice cream, you will stop and say, there must be good ice cream. Let's go and have ice cream. So it's simple psychology and sociology where if you have a lot of followers, people will follow you even more just for the heck of it. Just if it's a movie everybody's talking about, people go and watch that movie. If it's a movie nobody's talking about, nobody wants to go and see that movie. It's the exact same thing. A Facebook profile is a very valuable property now, where it has a worth. It has it's like a brand, and Facebook allowed everybody to become a brand. And the more followers you have, the bigger brand you have. It's like if Oprah Winfrey has more followers, she's a bigger, or people watch her more, she's a bigger celebrity. If Tom, Dick, and Harry is watched by 10 people, it's a small little show. Nobody's watching it, like our show, like my show. How many people? 21 people are watching. It's like we're nobodies, or at least I'm nobody. So the point here is, if it makes sense, is let's first build your personal profile to a very large following base, and it's hard work.
Can you tag me at the top of this video to do just that? So that the people
we will. It's not important. This conversation was between you and me, and everybody else is not here. They're just bonus customers. If they want to watch it, fine. If they want to watch it, that's fine. It's not for them. It's there for them to learn if they want to. If they don't want to learn, they can do whatever they want to do. So that's why
I'm just broadcasting my private lesson here.
That's why when I advertise, and I advertise for you your personal profile, so that you have more and more people trying to add you. And the more people who try to add you become your followers. Very, very simple. They don't have to be your nothing. And now comes to selling. You said in future when you're selling something, it'll be easier for me to sell on Facebook page. Of course, it'll be easier to sell on Facebook page. That's what it's open to do. It's a place where people will come and people will buy your book or buy your courses or buy your videos or whatever in the end happens. Another thing which is happening very soon on Facebook pages will be that you will be able to advertise and make money from, like, for example, this video we're doing, we will be able to make money from this because after 4 minutes, there will be an ad for 20 seconds and then we will be back. It's like TV shows automatically will happen and we'll make, every time we do this, we'll make $1, $10, $50, whatever.
So that's coming soon? That's a new feature? I haven't seen that.
It is going to be a new feature, but we don't know. If there's one thing I've learned in technology over the last 30 years, is that we don't know about anything. We don't know how things will play out. Forget about making money right now. Focus on your primary goal. We know that having a followership helps you. I can walk into anywhere in Karachi and I know somebody knows me already there, even if they're not saying it. It's creepy that you don't know who's watching. It's like you walk in and I'm like, I have to learn how to, undo this somehow, but it's creepy. I went yesterday with my family. I walked into the restaurant. I knew some people knew me, but they didn't say anything because I was with my family. But it's weird. It's like they know everything about me because I'm a public, I do everything publicly. So, but it is what it is. I mean, we were having a conversation today with the guys who dropped me about people don't trust each other. I told them you don't do business with them because you don't trust them. But in 10 years, the same glasses I'm wearing will have information about everyone who I'm looking at. And it will say, okay, her name is XYZ. She works here. This is the car she drives. This is how many divorces she had. This is how many children he had. All this information will be like scrolling on my glasses, and it's not rocket science. I mean, it's not science fiction anymore. It's here. It's just weird. It's just different. What is going to happen in the future? So, coming back to your personal profile and page. For now, I would say just if you have less than 400 page likes, unpublish the page because it will only confuse people. It will only say
800 or 900.
Well, that's because you actually have been saying to everyone, "Come and like my page." I can tell you this that you can have people from your profile to go to your page, but you can never have it other way around. Because it's not personal. A friend will give you time because he's a friend. There is a relationship involved. A customer will do what is good for him. So a page like is like having a customer. He doesn't have any empathy for you. He has a relationship of a customer and somebody who is giving something to them. So whereas in a profile, I feel that there is a relationship involved and you're actually having a relationship with the customer or the person who's talking to you.
And that is what I'm building in the classroom.
Well, you can. I mean, what you're doing in a classroom is totally different. So
yeah.
I can touch that on that. But in my personal opinion, as I said before, you should not broadcast from your classroom. You should not broadcast from your group. You should not broadcast from your page. The only place you want to broadcast is your personal profile right now, for now. You can always download and upload it from there. But for now, the only place of focus you have is your profile. It doesn't, a lot of people say don't mix business with, pleasure or business with friendship. And I have explained to you, and you're an open person. You don't have those, you don't care. So it shouldn't matter if the family members or the old friends are watching what you're doing. It doesn't, in your case, I know it doesn't matter.
Darren.
Huh?
Just said hi to Darren. He popped up.
Yeah, but in other people's cases, a lot of people are like, no, I don't want my friends to know what I do. Why? Are you doing like money laundering or something? Or why don't you want to?
Well, yeah, no, it makes sense because everybody knows what I do. And, I have these 800 former classroom students. Half of them are in Amy Carrier's classroom, the Facebook group. And, probably 500 or 600 are my Facebook friends, and they all, still want me to be teaching them and coaching them. And this
Right.
is what people hire me for. So I have no hesitation to do a Facebook Live about my work. So I can now do that on my, what did you call it? My profile, my personal profile page.
Right. And the people who we actually were in high school or in middle school with are more important because they have this 20, 30, 10 years of, it's like an old wine. A friend is like an old wine. It's just old. It just tastes better, whatever, right? For them. I don't know. But
that makes Darren Strong one of the oldest, since we were literally born on the same street together.
Right. And what I'm trying to say here is that the older people, the older friends, we sometimes don't work on them. Actually, it's more important to work on them. It's harder to work on them, and because they don't take us as seriously as the newer guy does. So, for example, the other day, my childhood friend, was teasing me, "Oh, Sir Rehan is here." He's like, I'm not fucking. I mean, Sir Rehan is like, I'm like Rehan, right? So for him, I'm just that same guy which he have been seeing for 30 years. To him, I'm not somebody who I have become, but he respects me for what I do.
Right.
And so those are our biggest, oldest anchors. That's why Paul Allen is the co-founder, not because, it just stick with you for who you are. The older people, older friends are very important. Your parents, your brothers, your sisters are very important. And I can guarantee you, even if you feel that they're not listening, I can guarantee you they're listening. My mother has changed. My brother has changed. One fine morning, I woke up and I found my brother has totally changed. And it's like coming out of a closet kind of thing. It's like all of a sudden he was taking photos like this, and I was showing everything I was showing for years and years. He just started doing, because even though he was thinking that he's not learning, he was actually learning. That's how we learn. That's the whole concept of me doing this 500 mutual friend program, that even if people think that they're doing it for the laptop, even if they're thinking that they're not learning anything, they don't even know what they're learning. That's how we learn. We get 20, 100, I don't know, gazillion piece of information in our head every day. The brain filters all the information which we need to remember and we need to forget. Based on that, if I've heard the name, say for example, Amy before, it doesn't matter. But now, if I'm friends with Amy, every time I will see the word Amy on any movie, it'll be, oh, here's a name for Amy. Or, for example, you are from, what city is that from? You're from Ithaca? What? Ithaca?
Ithaca.
Ithaca. So the other day I was watching House of Cards and it had Ithaca in it. So all of a sudden there was Ithaca in it. So like, I wouldn't notice it before. So it's not that, we start to learn something different because of our priorities become different, because of the empathy we have, a relationship which we have with someone. So for example, my friend from Milan is a really neat guy. He was telling me he had a taxi ride with a Pakistani driver in 1994. And that taxi driver implanted a seed of Pakistan in his head. Now he wants to come to Pakistan. It's like that. So
that's right. I had to interrupt. Darren said Ithaca Pride. So I'm sorry. Back up a little bit about the taxi driver. He had a what?
So he had an interaction or conversation with that taxi driver who was a Pakistani, and he planted the word Pakistan in his head. That was the first time he even interacted with a Pakistani before.
Okay.
And he Googled and he started liking the ghazal form of music, and he started to like the Himalayas, and now he wants to even move to Pakistan if he can. And so just by our small random actions, things happen. Coming back to your profile and page, do you have any more questions?
We plant seeds.
Does it make sense to you? And do you have any follow-up questions about it?
It does make sense to me. So what had been existing in my mind was pretty much parts and pieces of my observations, my opinions that I had formed, and lots of other people's, and then my research, the different people who I follow, and I actually, I star, which that used to be subscribe, but now it's the follow, see first function. So I pay attention to those people. So I look at their personal page, and then I go look to see, do they have a public page? So I'm just data gathering, but it's still been kind of parts and pieces. And you're actually, for the first time, kind of creating a flow of information that's making sense to me. I think part of this is also because Facebook, I personally have, 9 years of history with Facebook. So some of my old assumptions about what's the best thing to do might be based on the way Facebook was 2 years ago.
It's the clock.
So yeah.
This is gonna go on for like a minute.
How long?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. I'm gonna look at the comments. Elizabeth Green has a good comment here. Elizabeth Green, if you can hear me, stick around. I'm going to talk about your question. Send me a message.
Alrighty, so
Okay.
that was Azan for you. I don't know if you've heard it before.
I
It's
have, but
called
not from Dubai.
that like big one, which sings in the house like 5 times a day.
That's cool. So I want to answer
I
Elizabeth
think you're
Green's.
on mute or something. I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, never mind. So my Bluetooth was on.
Okay. So I want to answer Elizabeth or read Elizabeth's question. Elizabeth Green, if you're still
We're
here. Just,
not doing a session here. It's just between you
well,
and me. Forget everybody else.
I know, and what her question is important. So she says the problem is Facebook doesn't allow you to promote business on a personal page, as Facebook can delete your account, from what I've heard, but I've not seen that happen. Just curious about your opinion about the Facebook rules. So the reason I wanted to ask you that question is because I thought, first of all, that had actually happened to you. And I had heard the same thing. If you promote your business, Facebook blocks you for a period of time. Is that true?
So I can tell you this right now that I think there are not many employees of Facebook who know much about Facebook than I do. Not to be bragging about it, but Munib is here, but he can be testimony, or anybody else who watches me knows. And I actually help people in Facebook like fix their Facebook accounts. So forget about,
Who does? Who helps?
I have helped a few Facebook employees, senior employees even, to fix their Facebook account, make it look better. They all use it in a different way. Facebook is a tool. It's like a cell phone. Most people just know how to use it. Nobody teaches you. Apple doesn't teach you how to use your mobile phone effectively. That's why 99% of the people don't use it effectively, because they don't really care. They want to sell their device. Same goes for Google and everybody else. The people who are selling the product don't really come out and teach you how to do it. So how many people have actually written a book on Facebook? I have one. So coming back to your question, Facebook profile is not there to sell anything. You're not selling anything. You're branding yourself. It's different than selling anything. So if you come out on Facebook and say, "Hi, I'm selling my car. Would you like to buy it?" They'll be fine. But if you go out and say, "Hi, I'm a car dealer. Would you like to buy this particular day?" And every single day, people will get offended by it, and people will complain about it. And they have a clause in their terms of service, is the lawyer language. So that would, Facebook can use it to close your account for that purpose. But it is not, profile is not designed for you to start a business shop over there without having a permission. So that's what the page is for. And there they want you to use pages so they can make money. They don't make any money off the profile. They make money off the pages. So yes, she's right in a way, but it's a clause. It doesn't, what I do with my 500 mutual friend experiment, 2 years ago, I told my cousin my Facebook account will be blocked the moment Facebook will find out about it. But nothing has happened so far. Because look at Facebook. Facebook says don't add people who you don't know. And at the same time on the sideline, they're saying you might know this person. Add him, add him, add him. So it's like, it's always a juggle on how to do things. So we're talking about right now about creating a brand. If I was a singer and I go out and sing on my personal profile and I sing every day, there's nothing illegal about it. But on a Facebook page, I can tell my customers and say, you know what, go to my page, and if you want, you can buy a CD of mine, because Facebook has now given the option to open a shop on Facebook. I mean, it's literally like a shop there. So Facebook has money now option, right? So you can pay for it, you can buy things, you can sell things. So it's a work in progress. Facebook doesn't know what he wants for the next 5 years. It's impossible because technologies are changing. You have a plan, but you don't know what exactly will happen. So the terms of service is always in favor of the company. It's like constitution or the law. It's not in favor of the citizen. It's always in the favor of whoever is governing. So it's like that, and they can always be, it's like you do your damn, you don't do your damn. So just don't overdo anything. And if your account has to close, your account has to close. My friend Laik, his account has been closed 2 times. He doesn't even know why. He doesn't do anything illegal even. My personal account has been closed 2 times. I was just adding people, and they did not have a policy back then to stop people. You just close my account, and I would email them. They wouldn't answer. They wouldn't have an answer for me. So I have lost a lot of friends who I knew in the back then. I don't know them anymore. So and then this is how they make money. So never mind. So do you have any follow-up questions, Amy, about this?
Let me say back what I think I'm understanding from this that helps me to process. So essentially, what you're telling me, the guidance that you're giving me, is to focus on building my brand, me, who I am, and this is what I help other people do. And the people who follow me, want to follow me or learn from me or just like who I am and what I'm doing, it's best to just let them connect with me as followers on my personal page. And you already know about my preference, which is I've added a lot of people since I've met you and opened the follower function. You and I have now 200 mutual friends. And I've added those people because there's a personal reason that we're connecting. Or those people have messaged me and said something that made me feel like this is someone I want to know. So I can see, and the reason I do that is because I personally want to have that personal connection with a person I haven't met in person. Which is exactly what you're saying. Even if it's just the 10 minutes with the taxi driver, I want the personal connection. So that's what I'm hearing, is that other people are going to want that personal connection as well. And I actually remember one time you said to me, I was stuck in traffic and we had to have a phone call. And you were saying, just turn your video on and broadcast it on Facebook. And I said, what? Of the crazy traffic I'm sitting in? And you said, yeah, because that's something real. And people like to watch and connect to someone else who's just having a real experience, right? So I understand it a lot differently now, especially with the difference between the personal page and the business page. So my question is, when I start actually selling my products, I'm building a new website, I'm going to be selling my products and eventually my book. How then do I do that? And part B of that question is, how is it that you have 3 times as many followers on your business page than you do on your personal page? Help me understand that.
Okay, I explained you before that how I started advertising my page. And initially it was to find people in Palestine. Mm-hmm. Then I realized 6 years ago that the price of advertising on Facebook will go up eventually because Facebook is evolving and people will use Facebook more. So I wanted to have a large following. So I spent serious amount of money on advertising my page, which I couldn't do for my profile, in different parts of the world.
I see.
And I went and looked wherever I could advertise and get a like for a penny, I advertised. So I advertised in African countries, Albania, Macedonia, Montenegro, which I did not even know existed, but the prices was 1 cent. And then when I looked, oh, interesting, where is this place? And I looked and it turned out they were European people. So I thought, okay, I have a lot of Africans, now I need more Europeans. So when I started advertising in France and Germany, it was like 10, 20 cents a like. In America, it was $1 a like. This is 6 years ago. Now imagine how much it costs to get a like. Just to get a like, it's expensive. So I advertised and advertised now, and that's how I got a lot of likes on the page. So it was basically advertising. And then people were questioning, I mean, ethically, is it good to advertise a page? Is it good to advertise for Coca-Cola? Would you still buy Coca-Cola if there was no advertisement on TV for the next 5 years? It will die. It's all advertisement. Everything, in the end of the day, is marketing. If Amy Carrier doesn't come out, what was the great-great-grandmother's name of yours, Amy? Nobody remembers because she's not alive. She's not talking. She's not meeting anyone. She's not saying, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. You have to keep on marketing yourself in order for it staying alive, and you have to create content for that. And sometimes there is Socrates. Oh, no, I know. In
That
your
one's
case,
and that one's
okay. But in normal people's cases, I don't know what remember, at least. I know, I have it written somewhere. I don't remember what my great-great-grandfather's name is. But if he wrote a book, I would have known because the book might be around. If he made a video which I watched and he left me a video 100 years ago, I would have watched. I would have remembered it. So now everything we're doing is leaving a legacy behind so that we can be remembered by the people to come in the future. So like, for example, if Socrates did not say what he said and it wasn't written by somebody else, he wouldn't be alive. He's not like alive, but he's in our memories. We talk about it and we market it. Mm-hmm. That was his strategy. So my strategy to you is to create and become and give as much as you can your content publicly, video. Like, this is a conversation between you and me, and I'm saying this, record it, let's publish it. Why? Because maybe somebody else wants to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And maybe nobody does. Maybe it's up to them. Or maybe my great-great-grandchildren will want to watch it and say, hey, what was my great-great-grandfather was like? I have 1,000 videos from him. Can I watch them? Can I learn from him? Maybe one person wants to do that. So it doesn't matter if they do or not. But I know for sure that in future, there will be bots and software which will know us. If you haven't seen the TV show called the Black Mirror, one of the episodes is about
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. It's a crazy. It's like a science fiction Twilight Zone.
Okay.
And the episodes are very tech savvy. And one of the episodes is about something I said a few years ago about, we started a project where we wanted like a mufti or an imam or somebody in our phone. So I was sitting with Tony Buzan 4 years ago or 3 years ago in Singapore, and I was explaining to him, Tony, leave as much content behind because in future there would be apps which would become Tony Buzan in your phone. And those apps, or those artificial intelligence applications will go and learn everything about Amy Carrier or Tony Buzan. And then they will be Amy Carrier or Tony Buzan. They will speak like you. They will know you. They will know everything you've ever said. So they will compute, and they will, when in future I can ask questions to that Amy Carrier and say, Amy, how do I do this? And based on everything you've ever said, that app will come back and say something. So imagine bringing Jesus back to life or Prophet Muhammad back to life or everything he has ever said, the app will know. And you can ask the app or the virtual version or the avatar of that human being, what have you said about this, or how should I do this? And based on what they have said, that app will come back and explain, this is what you can do. So the more content you leave, the more digital footprint you leave, the more branded you are, because there is something to be branded about. There's something to be talked about. And then there could be quality content. There could be, content with grown shave. There could be content with big hair. There could be content with, less hair. There could be, with suit or not suit. It is still content. And that's what humans are. I mean, I am like this sometimes and I am in a suit sometimes. I'm still me. Whereas in other people's circumstances, like I haven't seen Obama like this in this shape. Why? Because, maybe he's not comfortable. So whatever. So that's why I have more page likes than the followers.
Okay. So that's just historical. That's the old Facebook.
It is there because even today, for example, I have decent amount of money spent on my page because I have to boost every post I make. Because even the people who have liked my page don't get to see my page post because it doesn't get to them. So the reason sometimes you get more views on a particular video and less on particular is depending on how much money I spent on that video.
So, but you broadcast your live videos on your business page. And
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I have to constantly experiment. You have to remember whatever I'm doing or saying right now might be invalid tomorrow or the month after or next year or something because of some new function. I have a feeling that by next year, majority of the videos which I will be doing would be 360 or they would be through an Oculus, and where we will be sitting in the same room. If you have my, you can go and follow my friend. I just shared his video. And his name, it's a French name. I cannot remember his name. Let me pronounce it for you correctly. Sasha Tuini. And he has been playing for the last 2-3 days with his Oculus, which is now $300, which is a virtual reality glasses, which is a full-fledged computer in a glasses. And you will wear one and I will wear one, and then we will be in the same room having same coffee. And we will be broadcasting from that room, third room, in the virtual reality space. And we bring up a background. It will be like we are sitting in the exact same place. And the Rehan's face will be there, Rehan's body will be there, but it will all be virtual reality based. And people will feel that Amy and Rehan are sitting in the same exact room, having coffee. And literally they will feel that way because that's what it will make them feel like that. I don't know if you have ever experienced virtual reality, but it's crazy. I have tried to walk on a plank, which I know is fake. I know it doesn't exist. I know I will not fall anywhere, but I could not walk the plank because it was making me feel I am very high up.
Right.
This was 3 years ago. And today I'm pretty sure it's more advanced. So it literally screws our brain, subconscious areas of our brain. Really weird stuff happens with virtual reality and will happen in the virtual reality space. It will change the way everything works, in how we interact, how we communicate. It's weird, but we can't know what will happen. When I started broadcasting my Facebook Live, I would get 1,000 people watch me live, at least. And they're all gone because now there are so many people broadcasting. And it was all exciting. Wow, somebody's live. My God, what is live? Let's try it.
When did you start?
When it came out, the first time it came out, I wasn't sitting in Colorado in my friend's house, and I saw I could go live, and I couldn't wait to go live, and I just started broadcasting. So it's just how things are changing.
So when did Facebook
branding related questions?
The live stuff? Was that like a year ago, 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago when the live came out on me. The first time I saw live was two and a quarter years ago. That's the first time it came out. That was another company called, Monique remembers it. It started with an M, and it's dead now. And there was no Facebook Live. There was a live by Periscope. There was a second company. It was actually launched by South by Southwest in Austin. And then the next week was a show marketing show in San Diego, and I was there, and I was with some of the broadcasters. There were like 10 people doing it or 100 people doing it by then. And then what's his name was there. Guy Kawasaki was there. He started broadcasting. And I was there, and I wasn't really into it because 50 people were watching. I don't really enjoy Twitter. I don't really enjoy at that time. There was no such thing as Twitter, but it was the feed link was going to Twitter. There was no Facebook available. And then 6 months later, Facebook launched their Facebook Live function, and it has changed everything. And I could realize that everything is changing. And then I started contacting all the TV channels that you can hack this and you can broadcast your TV feed directly to it. There was no option for them to broadcast TV on Facebook at that time. There was no API function or anything. So I remember I exchanged notes with the largest TV channels in Pakistan. Let me help you do that. Nobody took it seriously. Facebook was not taken seriously, and even now people are not taking it as seriously as because they are looking at it now because it's a big threat for them. But Facebook is going to kill everything we call media very quickly in the next years.
Yeah, it's been an interesting experience for me to say that I'm building a virtual global classroom on Facebook using Facebook groups, because in my field of work, people don't necessarily take Facebook seriously. And, so especially because there's such a huge ed tech startup community here, I would have to, apply for an incubator challenge and, get accepted and compete for the $100,000 and then work 24 hours a day with my team in order to build a new LMS, a learning management system, and build a new website, and then, advertise to schools or to whomever in order to build something that would be taken seriously. But what I told MIT 2 years ago when they invited me in to talk about how do we actually solve for education 50 or 100 years from now, I said what you and I both agreed on when we met 3 years ago, that every child is going to have access to everything they need in the palm of their hands, because everybody's going to have a mobile device, and it's a matter of putting the content and making it accessible. And so this is what's important to me, and why I feel like I just sidestepped all of the game of creating a legitimate learning management system and website and blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in that. I don't need to spend the next 2 years of my life getting, the first round and then the second round of funding and raise $5 million. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to get guidance directly to people as quickly as I can and create the community that allows people to support one another. And that's exactly what's happening in this virtual classroom through Facebook groups. And
any question related to branding?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's really exceeding my expectations, and it's putting me in a position. I had a meeting today to talk about it, and the person I was talking to doesn't have a Facebook account. So how do you then explain to people who aren't in the Facebook world what your Facebook brand is, and how do you...
Who are or who are not?
Who are not on Facebook or who don't take Facebook seriously, how do you say, this is what I'm doing, I have this big following?
Don't say anything. Just like people who were in the fax machine world did not take email seriously. It just did not happen. And I remember clearly in 1996, I was selling email service. This is 21 years ago. And one of a very respectable gentleman came up to me. He'd asked me, what do you do? I was very young. I said, I sell email service. And he said to me, what's email service? 2 years from there, he actually owned an ISP company, an internet service provider. So, and their family invested a lot of money in that. But it doesn't matter. You still go out and tell them what you're doing. You have to remember that Facebook has done amazing work to reach the masses.
Right.
Like, for example, I have stopped talking to the people on the higher circle now because they don't really care. They have already achieved, they have their systems in place. They have their Harvard and Stanfords for them, working for them, and their Brown universities for them. Whereas the people on the bottom of the pyramid have nothing working for them. And they are the one who excite me most. And they unappreciate me most also. But I know what I can do for them. So for example,
I'm sorry. They don't
They
appreciate it.
they don't understand the value which I am offering them also, because their lives change, but I know for sure they don't understand the value I'm giving to them. Very few people do, but it takes like 2-3 years for them to even realize that what I have been talking to them actually has value.
Hmm.
But for those 2-3 years, they actually criticize me and offend me and try to do, like, there's a lot of, like, for example, I posted about this new book of mine which I'm going to publish. And I think I might want to change the title, right? So it says, how to make money from without money,
How
right?
to start your
So
business without money. Okay.
yeah, and I asked how much would you pay for this. I didn't say dollar, I didn't say rupees, and 80% of the comments are rude, very very rude comments. And those people who are doing those rude comments are for sure in the future going to become my students or take advantage of the same book and learn from it.
Right.
However, at this point in time, I have to take the rudeness and I have to take their stones and build a castle out of it. And so, like, for example, tomorrow and for many years, I've been wanting to go to labor camps, because these labor camps in Dubai, majority of the money, in my opinion, comes to these government telephone companies through the labor camps, because these labor end up spending 40% of their money in communicating with their families, and they have barely any money to spend. So, I'm going to go out and distribute about the internet, but the book about the internet. But basically, it's just trying to bring them together where they can actually solve problem and outgrow quickly, more quickly than anybody else. But you also have to remember that Facebook has now given free internet in 80 countries. 80 countries now get free Facebook service. Not that Facebook free account, but free Facebook. Like, people in Pakistan, people in Somalia, people in Ethiopia might not have food, might not have water, might not have toilet, but they have Facebook.
Right.
So, as an entrepreneur, you play with what you have. And what we have are these people who are using Facebook, who are listening to you, who are, um, uh, there. They are there, and we can give them hope, and we can give them something for this. And that's what I am working on. Sometimes I am disappointed, of course, but this is something which I do. I mean, I think, and those are the people. They will speak volumes, and there will be exponential growth in your classroom. For example, it started with 20 people. Now you have, I don't know, 1,500 or more, and
2,400.
there you go. It's growing like 1,000 people a week. It's crazy. So, and it will grow more, and then you will have to figure out how to use it or take advantage of it. So, like, we can all, like, for example, the ex-president of Pakistan, Musharraf, has 3 million followers on Facebook. And he's literally lost his election and his credibility because of the page, because he wasn't using it properly. Another very big politician of Pakistan, I hang out with him, and he was saying, Rehan, you asked us to make this following. We have 4 million followers. What do we do with them? Let's use this. If I ask on Facebook, come to this place and have a protest, nobody will show up. And because that's how politics has been working, right? Protests, or if Martin Luther King did not have those black, and people showing up, he's no power. So the show of power is how many people can you get outside White House to protest. If you remember the
Right.
Million March.
There has to be a call to action. So is there no, your politicians don't have a call
My
to
answer
action?
to that, my answer to that politician was, you took my first class. You took my first class of explaining to you what Facebook can do. You got the followers. Now you have to take my second class explaining you how to use this following. People don't know what to do with the following. A lot of American super celebrities don't make any money. Like, one of this guy who used to be in the Webster. I don't know if you remember the show Webster.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. The
black guy,
guy
kid, little
who
kid.
played Webster, he was short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a security guard at some place in Los Angeles. Why is he a security guard? Because he did not know how to use his popularity into monetization. Most artists today don't make money. We have a guy here in this profile itself. He's an amazing singer. His name is Nasir Dholak Nawaz. He plays amazingly, but he doesn't know how he can make money from playing his songs through YouTube, through Facebook. He has his voice, he has his talent, and most people just don't know. And it's all new. Um, it's all new. As I said, sometimes Facebook people don't know what they're doing. So it's all so new. It's all happening in the now, and it's difficult to say this is right and this is wrong. But some things will never die. Like for example, your popularity. If you keep up with it, if you keep giving to it, if you keep pampering your brand, it just keeps growing, and then you can. There are ways to monetize it. I might not be the best person alive to tell you how to monetize it, but there are people who can help us, to coach you, to whoever. To, I mean, I can get you to a certain level, and maybe there is another guy who can help you even more. Um, and then, for example, you personally don't like Tony Robbins, but he has been able to make money out of his brand. But that is how
Thanks
you make
for
money.
outing me.
I'm not outing you. I'm just saying he has his way, and he is who he is. And there are certain ways of doing certain things, and certain things work, certain things don't work. Certain things don't work for some people. Certain things do work for some people. So I hope that your branding questions have been answered, and you will trust me on letting me create the following, which you can have, and it will eventually help
Trust you.
you. I don't know how totally. Like um, the other person I really did this was Dr. Susanna, and she got 19 or 20,000 followers, and she became extremely popular in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
She did the same thing, make videos, make content, produce content. She became extremely powerful, but we were not able to help her monetize a lot with that. And Pakistan might not be the right place. The audience my purpose of doing what I'm doing is different than what most marketeers in the US or in the world do. My purpose
That's nice.
is totally, totally different. My purpose is to create empathy in between human beings, not to create monetization or something else. It's about empathy creation, and I'm pretty successful at it. I have so many people who are stuck in Pakistan. They can't, even if they want to get Pakistan out of their heads, they cannot, because every single day they're getting a message from a Muhammad or an Ahmed or a Heather or a Sultan. Hi, 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 hi from Pakistan. They just cannot forget Pakistan. So I have been able to create so many those taxi drivers who are planting those seeds in other people's minds, and like they're just like, what's going on? Why are we being spammed from Pakistan? Is this ISIS attacking us? So no, it's Rehan attacking them literally, and it's working, and that's what I wanted to do. And I got like another person today from Italy who couldn't speak English even. I want to come to Pakistan. That's my goal for the next year. And so many others. So to me, it's like those people are becoming trees, and hopefully this will happen. I mean, even if it doesn't, I had good fun doing it. So who cares? I don't care. If it's successful, great. If it's not, I don't really care.
Okay. I want to have another conversation with you about this idea of monetizing the virtual classroom. And it's a question I wasn't willing to even think about at first because it's not why I created it. But there will be a certain level of interest if this continues. It works extremely well. And I can explain it to you after this conversation. But it's a brilliant design. And I've already been asked, of course, repeatedly by people in Pakistan to please come there and speak. And, it's possible. We could monetize it in that way, that if there's a certain group of
They won't
people.
hear you.
What?
I doubt they will pay you. The moment
Oh,
you
no,
will mention
no, not
money,
in Pakistan. But if there's a certain group of people who see this and who value this, that could be one of the ways. But I want to have a bigger conversation with you about what the potential is for this. This is the question I was asked today after I explained it. I was literally asked, how are you going to monetize this? And like I said, I'm not thinking about that, but it
let
is a brand. So what are we going to do with that?
you have 2,500 people, which means that in the next 2 months you will have maybe 10,000 people in that, right? So if out of the 10,000 people, you can take 500 people, which is 5% of them, to pay $5 for a course.
Right.
And if they pay $5 for a course, that's $2,500 per month, which will grow exponentially. That's just from that room,
Right.
which you can have. There are other ways. I'll give you a friend of mine's number which can help you. There are ways which people pay subscription $5 a month or $10 a month to get certain value out of it. And there is a free version and there's a freemium version. And there's
On Facebook groups?
you have to create it outside. But Facebook group is allowing you to send messages, notifications, which is not like I've heard or I've seen more notification comes to us for groups than of when I make a post. So if you're particularly right now, Facebook is very focused on promoting the groups and they're changing the groups and they're focused on the group right now. So for the next 6 months, whatever you do in the group will be promoted by Facebook automatically. Just like YouTube right now is promoting YouTube Live, and they want more live players to come there. Similarly, Facebook, I think right now is redesigning the groups section and focusing on building community. That's what they're constantly saying. So if you keep on building a community, we don't know how monetization will come, but believe in the universe and hopefully somehow a monetization will come. And do your Udemy course, and build more and more courses there. And I don't know how it will monetize, but there will be some way eventually. Hunger forces us to think in a very different way on many things. If you get hungry enough, you will find a way on monetization. You know that very well, and all of us have been there, done that, and it forces us to think in a very different way. So I'm not very worried about monetization. I am worried about how much money you make through your other things. So for example, with Majida, I was there. I posted a video that was in Urdu. She was like, I closed my business. I got a job finally because I couldn't do it. And Majida, her name is Majida, not the Majid but another.
Oh, okay.
And I forced her to write a book on how to get a job in Dubai. So she eventually finished the book. Now she's the first author to have a book about how to find a job in Dubai. So now she was like, I was not able to sell the book. I said, well, writing a book is different than actually selling the book. It's two different things. You have to write a book and then you have to sell it. You have to know how to sell. Thousands and millions of books are produced. Most people are not able to sell. So that's why marketeers are able to do more about anything. Anyway, so I told her, why don't you charge to people to find a job? You can help them, you can coach them. How about $300 per person? Would that be enough? She said, sure. And I said to her, would you be happy if I get you 1,000 people to pay you $300 by the next year? She said, sure, that would be $300,000. I can buy a house or something, an apartment. I said, okay. How many people does it take to get 5 customers? She said, 500. Oh, no, not 500. She said, 50. I said, that means 10% people are willing to pay you. So you need to reach out to 10,000 people in order to reach out to 1,000 paying customers. Mm-hmm. When you advertise Coca-Cola, you advertise to 1,000 people and 5 people are going to drink. So it's a numbers game. So you break out the numbers and Right now, you don't have a product. Like, for example, you have a $2,000 product, you have a $1,000 product. I don't have a cheaper product for you to monetize that. So, the audience which you have is willing to give cheaper money, is willing to give $5, $10 easily. But they're not going to pay $2,000 easily. It's a different audience which you have been able to obtain
Oh,
through
yeah,
marketing.
I know. That's why
So,
I mean,
so
what I
let,
do, my
let
day
me
job is different here than it is in this new global thing. Yeah.
So, I mean, in order to get 10,000 people to come to you, you have to get 10,000 people to come to you to get to 1,000 to pay you. And right now, she does not have the Udemy courses, the free YouTube videos, which can allow thousands of people to know about her. And I gave her tips on, you can go to the government's offices and say, here's my book, it's free. You can put it on your website for jobs, and anybody who's looking for a job, here's a book for them for free, which you can offer them. Once you have the book up there, you can then promote that everywhere, that, hey, you know what, I'm the official only person who has a book about getting a job in Dubai, and the government of Dubai is actually, I'm the official one. So, everybody else who doesn't exist, I'm the number one. So everybody wants number one. So, and then take your book and read, just like I asked you, make 2-minute videos about each chapter and each section, make a lot of videos. And then you
Yeah,
tell them,
I'm doing that. I need to do another live to get more topics from people. And I'll do
just
that.
finish your books as soon as possible and have it transcribed, and you will have a book. And then once you have a book,
I found two
um,
people.
yeah, once you have your book, then everything else is, of course, not easy, but easier than it
Right.
is right now.
So,
So,
I have a client in 6 minutes. So let me say thank you. This was very helpful. Um, my learning style I needed this. I needed like a flowing conversation where I could get the whole picture rather than bits and pieces. So for me, this was a good instructional style. I use dialogue and communication. So thank you. I appreciate this. And, and I don't think I have any more questions, but I know where to find you, and I will probably have more questions. But I need to get into my headspace for my client in 5 minutes.
all right, take
Thank,
care, and thank you so much.
thank you. Have fun in Dubai.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.